What?
What?
Come here. I just want to let you know I could get you like a replica for like 80, 90 top.
No, bro, I gotta do like 250.
What's the difference of like $25?
I paid a little too much for it.
All right, what's going on, Suburban viewers? Today I'm here with a Montreal filmmaker who has been making waves with his latest short film. I'm here with Ryan TERK. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Oh, pleasure. I'm a fan. I love film. That's actually my background too. So it's always good talking movies with anyone at any capacity, you know?
For sure, yeah, love it.
Yeah, man. So I want to know a little bit about you because you kind of formed a scene in a way where, like, when everyone was talking about your short at one point, I saw you submitted it to festivals. But what inspired you to make a film or to become a filmmaker?
I don't know. I think it's sort of always been, and it's been like just a very instinctive thing for me. I've always just had a fascination with movies. I don't really know where it comes from. Even at age 2, my parents would make home videos, and I would always try and steal their camera, film stuff. We'd go to the movies like every week. I actually learned to read by memorizing the Blockbuster catalog, you know, where they had all the DVD release dates and stuff. I like memorized them and just run around my house announcing them. So I don't know where it comes from. It's kind of like I was born with it. I think it helped that my family loves movies, but yeah, it kind of just it's been in my head forever, in my heart forever.
Yeah, and you brought me back with the catalogs you'd get at Blockbuster, like those and everything.
Every week.
I miss those, man. I miss those. But
Me too.
do you have any films, like, I guess, growing up that really kind of inspired you or changed your perception on like actual what you could accomplish within the film medium?
Oh yeah, plenty. Even when I was a little kid, I mean, my first movie memory is seeing Peter Pan, like an animated matinee, like 3, 4 years old. And I remember being so afraid of it that I ran out of the theater. And obviously at that age, you don't notice things, but I think looking back on it, I feel like that kind of triggered something in me, you know, feeling any sort of deep emotion through watching cinema. Fast forward a few years, I remember watching Edward Scissorhands by mistake at like age 8, which, you know, I'm not really influenced by the substance of a movie like that, but I think at that age, feeling these strong emotions through something that didn't exist, that I thought didn't exist, I think that really just kind of confused me in a beautiful way. And then discovering Boogie Nights when I was 13 is what really did it for me. You know, you've seen that one, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Classic. So I saw that at like age 13, and it was this beautiful balance between, you know, entertainment and really exciting characters, and then clearly a lot of intimacy painted in every scene. So that's kind of when I dropped all of my, you know, 13-year-old plans and just decided I was going to make movies.
Okay. So it's been in the works for a while. So like, what were, like, can you tell me a bit about your earlier works? Because like, obviously this last film was very, very polished, but I'm sure it took years of practice to get there.
Well, this is actually my first project, so
Dude, okay.
yeah.
Bro.
Thanks, man. I mean, I've written a lot, but this is my first like short. Before this, I maybe had like 2, 3 projects that I made with friends for like no money. We didn't even have a script. We'd kind of just go out and like run around and film stuff. But like, this is my first project that I wrote, got people together, went out and shot something, edited it, you know, film festivals, that whole thing. This is my first, actually. So I don't have early works, really.
That's amazing. That's actually really inspiring to see. Like, if I find the bar is here already, and the fact that it's your first one, it means it's only getting higher from here. You know?
Yeah.
Say you good, and that's good, man.
Yeah, it is good. The film is called "There's Nothing You Can Do." I really enjoyed it personally, and can you just tell me a little bit about it for viewers that haven't been as lucky as I have to see it yet?
Yeah. So it'll be out in August, by the way, on a streaming service that I really, really like. And it's basically about a street photographer set on one day. And he struggles to basically control his impulsive lying, mounting debts, and just conflict with his ex-girlfriend. And it's on this very big day for him for a photo shoot at a nightclub. Following a very big concert.
You said I was doing laptop repair, so I gotta have a laptop there, right?
Yeah,
Probably because it can't be
anything.
here because you're gonna drop all
Yeah.
that on there, right?
It doesn't have to be a laptop. It could be anything. And once I have my stuff here, you'll see.
because I can hide this, but like.
Okay, perfect.
The film is called "There's Nothing You Can Do," and I feel like when I saw the credits, there's nothing you didn't do in the movie. It seems like you did literally everything for the film. So, can you tell me a little bit about I guess, what inspired it, the production cycle? There's a lot of Montreal in there, which is great too. It's
Yeah. Well, first off, I did have a really, really great crew. I mean, I think what enabled me to do a lot of things and wear a lot of different hats was having just really, really talented people behind and in front of the camera. So, even my DP, Raphael Cohen, I think this was his first like kind of bigger scale project with a lot of days of filming and a lot of locations. But, he definitely knows how to use a camera. My sound recordist, Richard Taydon, like he's been on a ton of shoots also. So they were people who I could trust to do their job and let me do my jobs. So that helped a lot. And it really just was having such a small budget and having like 12 locations, like 40 characters, all in 30 minutes. I just needed to hire friends and locals for the most part. I couldn't really afford anybody else. And I'm happy it worked out that way.
well, that's an experience you'll never be able to duplicate. And the fact that you're able to do something with such a small budget, the fact that when you kind of progress and get bigger budgets, this will be like the stepping stone and all the experience you need. But speaking on budget, how much did this whole film cost? Did you self-finance it yourself? And
So the budget was approximately 3,000 US, maybe like give or take. I put in a little bit, and then my mom and my grandparents put in a little bit as well. They've always been huge supporters of me, even through the low points of my life. And so, I didn't feel uncomfortable taking a little bit from them because I knew that they really wanted to help out. It wasn't the kind of thing where I had to ask them. They kind of, once they heard I was writing something and I was going to do it, they were like, well, we want to help out. And that's always how they've been.
I found there's like, it's funny you brought up Boogie Nights because there's definitely some PTA influence there too. I found it was a little bit of a Nightcrawler and Uncut Gems vibe, just to be a little bit more modern. But why did you feel like this was the story you needed to tell, especially now during these times? Or did these times alter it, kind of thing?
I don't really go into movies thinking that way. I obviously do believe that you have to be personal when you make movies, and it definitely is a personal movie to me. But I don't really have any like end goals or themes when I write. I kind of just write, and then when I'm editing or when I'm shooting, I kind of start to realize where things might have come from subconsciously, like from me, and where the really personal stuff is. Like what good is it for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their soul? And I feel like, it's always been that way. But I think especially today, there's so many platforms that enabled people to, engage in that kind of a thing. And I think for a character like Ronnie, I mean, he so clearly is willing to do just about anything for the respect of other people. But a lot of it is very short-sighted, a lot of what he does. And I think that that's kind of an age that we're living in, especially with a lot of the influencers out there, a lot of people who are getting notoriety and fame for doing, pretty silly stuff. I think, let me think about this for a sec.
No, but you're making some good points, because there is people like you're saying that they're, I mean, for lack of better words, practically doing nothing, and they're getting their clout and they feel like they're important, but in the real world, that doesn't necessarily translate all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I think people who sort of just put themselves first, who are just so obsessed with their own self-image that they're basically willing to do anything to improve it in the eyes of other people instead of just, doing what's best for themselves. And I think that's something that definitely drives Ronnie in pretty much every single scene. And I think like the biggest writing tip I ever got was from one of my favorite writers. And he basically told me that like every good story is just catalyzed by flawed logic that stems from bad decisions from the main character. And so I think that's kind of what, drives Ronnie the whole story.
Wow.
Is this very flawed ideology.
I love that. I love hearing the behind the inside scoop of what it came from. Well, one thing I loved about the film too, besides like the deep metaphors that you just brought up, that even I want to watch it again to kind of analyze those. But there is a lot of Montreal in there. So did you shoot the whole thing in Montreal, and what led you to certain locations, and how do you feel about highlighting the city in such a great way?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's something my friends and I have always spoken about. My filmmaking friends, my non-filmmaking friends, just making Montreal cool. I think Bill Brownstein just wrote an article about how there's so many movies being filmed in the city every year. And then we all get very excited as Montrealers. And then sure enough, they all always end up taking place in New York, Boston, Europe. And it was kind of annoying seeing the city always doubling for another one, because I think it's such an amazing city. And there's just so much going on, so many different scenes. So it was totally conscious, like every single location, every single person. We tried to use iconic Montreal somethings, whether it was rappers like Lou Phelps and Mackie Lavender, very popular locations like École Privée. I think there's a lot of talent in the city, and I really think that Montreal should be on the map a little bit more.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what we're trying to do right here.
Yeah.
No, I love hearing that too. And like, I've made a few films before too. So I just want to like to inform viewers about a little bit about the behind the scenes process, because it's not so simple as just coming in and just being like, can we shoot something here? Like, you have to plan this out in pre-production before, and you have to, I'm sure you have to do location scouts. You did some lighting and whatnot. So can you walk me a little bit about, I guess, the pre-production aspect that led to such a great final product?
Sure. So again, this being my first short film, a lot of my friends told me I was nuts, a lot of my filmmaking friends, because it's obviously a pretty ambitious first project to do with no money too. And it really just came down to a lot of Montrealers jumping in and really helping out. For example, the restaurant scene, we shot that at a restaurant called Fiorellino, and we needed a whole day to film. And that's something that was kind of daunting to me in pre-production, is finding a restaurant that would let us film for free pretty much all day. It's kind of unheard of.
Yeah.
But I've worked with this great chef, another great Montreal figure named Joe Mercury. And I'd done some work for him in the past. He really likes me. He liked the script. And so he ended up exchanging some of his recipes with this restaurant or something like along those lines, so that they could give us the location for free. Oh, so a lot of people are asking how I kept the budget so low. And it was really just people like Joe who helped me do that, who helped me keep it so low. Same thing with the club scene. I mean, at first I wasn't going to shoot at École Privée just because, you know, it being a very popular location, it's a bit pricier. But again, the owner of that place, Brooke Walsh, really liked me. He liked the script. He liked the project, the idea of kind of, you know, making a time capsule of Montreal in this time. And he gave me like a great rate to use his club as well, and was very supportive too on location. So
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love how pretty much people were like, they were unified because of you, your vision, your script, your passion behind it too, because to write, like you said, just to write a script during these times and to be like, I'm shooting it, it's my first one, and that doesn't go unnoticed. That is a bit of a gutsy move. So the fact that you went, you committed to it, and you weren't going to be stopped no matter what the response was, I think that says a lot about you. And I think that's probably a reason why a lot of people wanted to help you out, man. Yeah.
And I mean, I think it says a lot about the city too. I mean, I was expecting so many people to say no, and I was ready for so much rejection. And pretty much everybody we went up to said okay. They said yes, and they were very, very supportive. Beyond just, you know, offering their services and locations, I mean, just morally, emotionally, they were really there for me and for the crew and the cast. So I think that's another reason why I really, really want to keep filming and making stuff with Montrealers in Montreal.
I love hearing that, man. And you never know until you try. And now I want to kind of talk about how it started in Montreal. You filmed everything in Montreal, but now you're submitting to a bunch of different festivals all over the world, and you've received a lot of success in a few of them already. So can you tell me a little bit about the festival process, how many you've submitted to, what awards you've won, which I won't say myself?
Yeah, so we just premiered at Pendance in Toronto, and that's a great independent film festival. I've been a fan for a couple of years, and we actually won Best Canadian Short Film, which was really, really, really nice. Yeah, so that was super cool. And the director of that festival, Rob, has been showing a ton of support for me and just for the whole crew again. And yeah, then we got a few more dates coming up in Los Angeles, Boston, Italy, Chicago, Nashville, Oregon. We got a whole bunch coming up in the next few months. I can't announce them yet until we get like the official acceptance and stuff. But yeah, we got a few more coming up. And in terms of submitting, I mean, it's been fun, I guess. I obviously prefer making movies than like submitting them and doing promo and stuff, but it's all great. I mean, it's all a lot of fun, and you get to meet a ton of great filmmakers and festival directors, and they're just, you know, fellow cinema lovers. So it's always nice to meet people like that. And they've been through the circuit a lot, so they have great advice, and it's just been helping me grow as a person, as a filmmaker. And yeah, they're just fun people to talk with.
No, that's fantastic to hear. And it's like you said earlier, it's like you're talking to people within your community, whether you realize them or not. And just hearing the whole story about how you really took a passion project, and there's a lot of people that talk about passion this or they're going to do this and they're going to do that. But the fact that you actually wrote it and produced it and really learned, I'm sure, tons of other skills along the way, like networking with people, probably talking with people, restaurant owners, business owners that you never probably talked to beforehand. And the fact that they really wanted to support and to save, to get behind it, I think you had a lot to be proud of, man. And it shows in the final work. And I'm really proud and I'm really honored. And I feel like I got you before the whole hype blows up, because I have a feeling there's a few more there's festivals that are going to be saying yes very, very soon to you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. I really appreciate you shedding some good light on the city and just inspiring probably other creatives, whether they're in, no matter what the field, whether it's film or not, just to kind of pursue their dreams, follow their passions, and good things will come out as a result.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. I really appreciate that, man. And I mean, if you're watching this and you're a young filmmaker, feel free to reach out. My production company, Scan One Filmworks, is on Instagram. And yeah, I'd love to help you out if you're having some trouble planning your next movie and you have a limited budget. You know, I'm here to help.
Well, that's a real Montrealer right there. Love it, love it, love it.